Yes, welcome back to the Sports Show. Time to turn our attention to rowing. We've been fortunate enough, Baz, to get the Australian junior coach just back from Tokyo on Monday. Jason Lane joins us. Jason, thanks for coming in, mate.
Thanks, Phil. Thanks for having me.
The CEO, of course, of rowing, Dave Hutton, joins us. He's been on a world tour, mate. I know you're going to the slide night fairly soon, mate, but they reckon it may go for a month. But anyway, Hutch, welcome, mate.
Yeah, thanks,
Good
Phil.
to see you,
Thanks,
mate.
mate.
It's great to see you.
Let's start with you, Jason. I mean, just coming back from Tokyo. I mean, rowing's not one of those sports, unfortunately, until the Olympics come, that suddenly it gets a huge profile.
Sure.
Then it's back to all the hard work, which you're in the grind of with the juniors, mate.
Yes.
Successful in Tokyo, from your point of view? I'm not talking about gold and silver, just the actual way the athletes competed.
Yeah, for sure. Like the juniors, it's their first international competition, so it's a very different ballpark for them to competing international stage, and exciting for them to compete on the Olympic course. It's something you don't get the chance of, obviously, very often. But the overall team performed really well, very professional, went about their business really well. What was good that we came away with the gold medal. We ranked 5th overall as a nation. But the overall atmosphere and culture in the team was great. Really enjoyed the experience.
I don't know whether it's disappointing is the right word, but there were no South Australians in that
Correct.
team.
Yes.
Where are we at with that? I mean, we close? We got players that were rowers that were close?
Yeah, so we had a number of athletes at trials for a number of years now, but there's a selection standard you need to meet to make the team, and we've just been on the wrong side of that the last couple of years.
Yeah.
We've got groups in training the whole time and trying to get athletes through from the school system to make that next step.
Yeah.
So, look, we're not quite there, but we're close. We're
It's not
working
an
hard
easy
to do
thing.
it.
It's not an easy thing to get into, by
It's
the way.
not.
I mean,
No,
I don't know, what's in a team? How many's in a team? How many can you select?
Well, there's 14 events available at the Olympic Games.
Yeah.
And so that ranges from a single scull through to the 8.
Yep.
We've tried to get athletes selected in quads and fours. Hasn't quite come off yet. I guess we've got some in the wings that are trying to do that. But I guess the upshot is that we've had athletes that have just missed junior teams but have made under 23 teams.
Okay.
And won medals this year at under 23 world champs, and then obviously seniors as well. So the
yeah.
pathway's still there, just the bottom's not quite there yet.
Are we more the late bloomer then, Jason? I mean, you know, if you go for a walk along the Yarra, for example, you go past and there's 20 boat sheds there.
Sure, yeah.
And then you go for a walk along the River Torrens and there's 3
Yes,
or 4.
yeah.
And I'm not being disrespectful in any way. Same in basketball. It's you know, you go to one of our stadiums, 3 courts, you go to Dandenong, it's 20 courts. So,
Yes,
you know, we kind of seem to be up against it till we get past that under 18 stage. And then those kids you're talking about, the under 23 into seniors, suddenly we seem to be a bit more on the even playing field.
For sure, yeah. So like our talent pool is a bit smaller for sure. But once they get into a structured system, whether it's through our program at SASS or through clubs, a good training program, and they push forward pretty quickly. So it's just a matter of holding them in the sport, getting them engaged, enjoying the sport, and then you're right, they do kick on from there. But it's a bit of a waiting game sometimes as well. So
is that a tricky thing to keep them on the track, keep them rowing? That's what I'm saying. Instead of going, okay, look, I've got a nice build, I should be trying footy or I should be trying something like that. Is it difficult to keep these guys on that path?
It is. It's a hard sport, so they train a lot, and it's obviously, like I said, a lower profile sport. There's no financial recognition as part of it, so you're really going out to represent your state or country as your main goal, and put a lot of work in to do that. But if you build a strong culture and a lot of camaraderie around the group, then the momentum does flow from there. But if you get them right at the beginning, then it does flow on okay.
Hey, Jess, I'm interested, you talked about the course in Tokyo.
Yes.
Compared to the course at West Lakes, you know, most people go, water's water.
Yep.
But it's like saying to a footballer, well, the ovals are the same or they're not because the grass is a little bit different. Is there much adjusting?
There was for us, coming from winter in Australia to summer, obviously, in the Northern Hemisphere. The biggest difference was water temperature. So we had a training camp in Penrith where the water temp was about 12 or 13 degrees. And going to Tokyo was 31, and so it's like a bath. Wow. So the water is a lot faster. It's a salt water course, so in a lot of respects very similar to West Lakes, a salt water course. But in everything else, it's a 2K buoyed course that you go from A to B and try and go fast. So.
You've done some work, and some good work, with the para rowers. We had Jed Altschwager, who's away currently. He's not here.
Will Smith, yes. So they're the
making their mark, those boys, on the
so they've been selected in the PR3, so the para pair at the World Champs. So they start racing, when the World Champs start on Sunday. So they've been training really well, in good shape, hopefully get some good results in Linz.
And we're in off-season at Huts at the moment, aren't we? It's off-season for rowing.
Yeah, it is.
So what do you do other than go around
our
the world?
season really kicks off in October, but we're just as busy now, Baz. We've got our AGM next week. We've got a couple of winter regattas that we run, time trials. We work with SASS to run monthly time trials right through the year. And then working with our clubs and schools on planning out the next season and what new initiatives we can bring into the sport. As Jason's touched on, we've had over the last month we've had 3 athletes in the World Under 23 Championships. Angus Dawson, who was at St Peter's College last year, won a gold medal over there. And Alana Gilsmore and Mitch Reinhardt also competed and did well there. And then the national team, there's been a series of 3 World Cup events through Europe leading into the World Championships, and Australia sort of led the medal table in those, and we've had three rowers, Alex Hill, Molly Goodman, Ollie Aldersey, along with Will and Jed in the paras, who are representing us at the World Champs. So, so a lot of stuff going on around our facility. We own and renovate the facility down at West Lakes, ready for the new year. And
two things, Huts. 2 things for you here. You've just been away overseas. You went to a couple of really top events while you were away. Let's not joke about all the photos you sent back, which bored everyone to death. No, not really.
Only for the envious, mate.
But you actually attended a couple of really top, world-class events.
Yeah, I did. Look, I was lucky enough to go over to Europe and the UK. That was really a month's holiday, but I made sure I got to a couple of events just because I've only been involved in rowing for just over 3 years myself. So still learning, developing. So seeing some of these events that Jason's, I suppose, competed in and coached at for years. So I got to 2 quite different events. The Henley Royal Regatta at Henley-on-Thames, and it's a 150-year-old event.
A big one.
Just head racing, 2 boats at a time on a place on the Henley-on-Thames on the Thames River, and just tens of thousands of people crowded into this area. And a lot of it's all about the off-course stuff. You know, you've got to wear your boater hats and your blazers and ties. And
I didn't see that photo, Huts.
I didn't know that. Well, you didn't look. You probably got sick of looking at the photos.
Well, I did.
Yeah. It's all right though. There's a night coming up. You'll get a chance to see them.
And there were some Aussie crews. No South Aussies this year, but in the past there have been. But some Aussie crews from the eastern states competed against their school events, club events from all over the world. So that was great. And a lot of it's about like the Melbourne Cup and the Ashes Test. A lot of the action happens off the course. I'm sure some people go and don't really watch the rowing, but the rowing is great too. Then I went over to the Netherlands to the World Cup event, which was the final of the lead up to the World Champs. So the Australian rowing team rowed really well in a course Rotterdam. Actually, we rocked up there and it was quite a wind. That was probably about the worst weather day we had over there, but. When we sat in the grandstand with a couple of the other state CEOs who were there, we looked across the other side of the course and there's all these windmills, and we thought, interesting place for a rowing course. There's windmills everywhere, and it was really windy, and they had to change the whole format of qualification that day. So.
Wow.
Hey, just quickly, we didn't touch on your career, mate, which was a pretty good career.
Massive career.
They talk in sport, you know, we try and compare eras all the time. When you coach, you get a pretty good snapshot of where it's really gone.
Yeah.
What's been the biggest change since you stopped rowing and then went into coaching?
Look, the amount of work that athletes do now is going up all the time. So when I was rowing, you trained probably twice a day. At the moment, it's 3 times a day. More than not, 2 of those are on the water, and then a third one maybe in the gym or on the ergo. So the amount of work and the volume of training athletes do now has probably been the biggest increase. It's gone through the roof. And then obviously there's the recovery and everything else that goes with it. But it's definitely a much more professional from a training point of view.
Have the boats changed much?
They have, yeah. So they've gone from your timber hulls and timber oars through to carbon fibre Kevlar boats, carbon fibre oars, oar shapes. That's a whole new science in terms of boat technology and obviously price that goes with it as well. So,
outboard motors.
Yeah. Outboard motors, if only.
But there was a time at the Institute early in Canberra days where they were going to the schools and identifying kids really early, based purely on size and some of the tests.
Tunnel ID testing.
Still continuing today?
Yeah, that's a really good format. Rowing's a physiology sport. So if you're tall, got long levers, good engine, you're going to go a long way. So it's certainly part of our profiling of athletes that if you have that criteria, then come along, and if you've got the mindset, Way you go.
Wow.
Hey, really appreciate you coming in, mate, especially
Absolutely.
on the short turnaround. Hutch, good luck for the rest of the season, mate.
Yeah, mate.
Look forward to
Good
catching
luck,
up and hearing more about how our great rowers are going here in South Australia. Stay with us. Still a little bit more to come on the show.